She thought Dubai would be her clean slate, a place where she could reset the narrative, step into luxury, and quietly put distance between herself and the scandals piling up back home. But the red carpet she expected never appeared. Instead, Meghan Markle was allegedly stopped at immigration, pulled aside by officials, and taken to a private room. There was no press, no warm welcome, just a quiet denial. Sources claimed the moment was tense. She arrived dressed to impress, but what followed was anything but glamorous. After a brief exchange with border control, whispers say Meghan was informed that her entry had been flagged. Dubai, a country built on rules, discretion, and a deep cultural value of honor, wasn't rolling out the welcome mat for someone seen globally as unpredictable. Officials didn't say much. They didn't have to. Her reputation spoke louder than anything in her passport. And according to insiders, what followed behind closed doors left Meghan livid. One witness described her as visibly shaking with rage when she emerged, eyes cold, lips pressed into a line, walking fast and refusing to speak to anyone. No photo ops, no Instagram moments, just a quiet, brutal rejection. Why? Because right now, Meghan Markle is seen as toxic. In the Middle East, reputation is everything. And after months of headlines portraying her as a manipulator, a chronic victim, and most damningly, a bully, Dubai made a calculated choice. They didn't want the circus. They didn't want the drama. And they certainly didn't want to be dragged into another royal media war. The message was clear. This country, proud of its order and structure, wouldn't bend for a brand built on chaos. It wasn't just public perception that hurt her. Behind the scenes, reports of Meghan's behavior had traveled farther than she expected. Former aides, especially those who filed official complaints during her time in the UK, allegedly spoke to international advisors. Quiet whispers moved through global diplomatic circles. Stories of tantrums, staff in tears, and sudden firings. Dubai took notice. The last thing they wanted was someone famous for accusing everyone else of mistreatment while burying her own controversies. And let's be honest, when you're under federal scrutiny, facing an ongoing investigation, and fresh off a federal raid in Montecito, no country is eager to roll out state protection, especially not one with a reputation to uphold. But Dubai wasn't her only plan. Insiders say Meghan is still in talks with Saudi officials, quietly trying to negotiate terms that would allow her to live there, possibly under a pseudo-diplomatic arrangement. But trust is thin. Saudi leadership, according to multiple sources, is extremely cautious. The risk of reputational damage is too high. Meghan, no matter how carefully she frames her story, is still carrying the weight of too many scandals. This entire saga comes just days after reports claimed that Meghan and Harry were officially forced out of the Montecito estate, not sold, not moved, but kicked out. Allegedly, late rent payments and quiet financial disputes with the property manager pushed the situation past recovery. They're gone, and they left fast. It's a stark fall from the $100 million dream they once broadcast. The Spotify deal collapsed. Netflix grew cold. Archwell donations have slowed to a crawl. The glamorous post-royal empire is crumbling. And now, with nowhere to land in Dubai and Saudi Arabia still hesitant, Meghan's options are narrowing fast. What makes this all the more brutal is that Meghan allegedly believed Dubai would be easy, that her title, even unofficial, would grease the wheels, and that global fame still meant open doors. Instead, she ran into reality. A border system that didn't care about tabloid coverage or PR framing. A government that looked at her file and said, too risky. This wasn't about race. It wasn't about politics. It was about unpredictability. And the fear that hosting her could invite an avalanche of negative attention only made matters worse. Reports about her alleged treatment of staff continue to resurface. Former palace employees have stood by their accounts of mistreatment, and American staff members hired after her royal departure have echoed similar claims. One former employee even said she quit after just 6 weeks, citing emotional whiplash and manipulative hostility. In the West, that might be spun. In Dubai, it's a red flag. Diplomatic observers say Meghan's attempt to relocate amid ongoing legal scrutiny may have sealed her fate. Nobody wants to appear as though they are shielding someone under investigation, not even allies. And while Meghan's team has remained completely silent on the Dubai debacle, the timing couldn't be worse. Social media has already picked up the scent. Twitter threads are exploding. Reddit is filled with speculation, and PR professionals are openly questioning how she plans to spin this, because right now, there's no good angle. She's lost her home. She's lost another chance to rebrand herself abroad. And insiders say her relationship with Harry is now showing serious cracks. According to two separate sources, the couple has been fighting more frequently, mostly about money. Meghan reportedly feels trapped. Harry, insiders claim, is frustrated. He has been reaching out to the palace, trying to re-establish ties and looking for a lifeline. But every time he calls, he's turned away. There are whispers that Harry didn't even know about Meghan's attempt to enter Dubai until after it went south, that her decision to leave the country was a solo move, one that embarrassed them both when she was stopped at the border. And that might be the final straw. One source close to a mutual friend said they're no longer aligned. He wants structure. She wants an escape. Another source hinted that they now sleep in separate rooms. It's all speculation, of course, but given the recent silence from in Meghan's camp, it's becoming harder and harder to deny that something has shifted. This isn't the couple who stepped away from royal life to find peace. This is a brand unraveling. And now, with doors closing in the US and abroad, Meghan is learning the hardest lesson of all. Fame might get you in the room, but when the scandals start stacking up, even billion-dollar kingdoms close the door, especially when they sense trouble. The image of her being stopped at Dubai immigration, escorted into a private room, denied entry, and leaving in a fury has already burned itself into the public consciousness. No matter how her team spins it, the optics are a disaster. And if Saudi Arabia doesn't grant her sanctuary next, she may find herself with nowhere left to run. Meanwhile, Harry remains quiet, but insiders say he's done being dragged into the chaos. After the Dubai debacle, he is reportedly distancing himself from Meghan's mounting controversies. Sources claim he has been in private talks again. He has been trying to reconnect with palace officials, desperate to go home, or at least secure a path back. But so far, the response has been ice-cold. William still isn't answering. Charles, according to some, has shut the door completely. Harry is realizing that, no matter how much he wants to step away from Meghan's turmoil, forgiveness from the monarchy isn't guaranteed anymore. The cracks in the fairy tale are showing, and the ending no longer looks like a happily ever after.